Learning how to trade Forex had a lot of up and down moments for me, and I would definitely say that it was an emotional roller coaster at certain times. But it's safe to say that I definitely do not regret anything. I am so happy that I learned this skill, and it's been so worth it for me. So if you're curious to know about how I learned Forex, keep watching. What's up guys, Candace B here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome to my new ones. So today's video is going to be about how I learned how to trade Forex, and I guess it'll kind of be a story time, kind of. I'm just going to explain to you to the best of my memory how it started in terms of how I was taught and kind of where it all began, and then go from there. So my video about how I made $8,000 fast in the Forex market gave quite a bit of detail of kind of how I started, and you know, it had that story about that guy who, you know, gave me Forex signals, blase blase. Make sure you check out that video. It's really funny in my opinion. So in terms of how I learned how to actually trade Forex itself, I guess that's a different story, so we will talk about that in this video. So I'm trying to think. I don't really have the best memory, but I'm trying to think.
1 hour later.
In that $8,000 video, I talked about how that guy, that was the first kind of person that introduced me to Forex, and then I, you know, took signals from him or whatever, and I lost all that money. And then after that happened, instead of quitting, I said how I thought, you know, I need to really learn this properly. So to kind of go back to that, I had a friend, I guess, or a person that I had met online when I was kind of posting all those screenshots about how I was making all this money. Someone added me as a friend and DM'd me, and he was just like, oh, you know, what methods do you use? And he was kind of asking me all these like Forex type of questions, and I was looking at the messages like, what is he talking about? Because at that time I didn't know how to trade Forex. I was just clicking buttons, so I was like, what is this guy talking about? So yeah, like I kind of ignored it or whatever, but then once I had lost all that money and kind of that guy who gave me the signal just went MIA, then I was just like, okay, I need to figure this out on my own. So I reached out to that same guy who had messaged me on Facebook, and I was just like, man, I need some help. Like I need some help with learning how to trade. So he referred me to a mentor, a girl who teaches Forex, and her name is Storm. Super dope name. I love her name. So yeah, she's a super sweet girl. She lives in the States, and I reached out to her, and she's very quick, very sweet when she answered. I told her, you know, I'm just trying to learn how to trade Forex. What services do you offer? So she kind of went into how she has, you know, her group course, and then she has her like one-on-one courses which were a bit more expensive, of course. And at that point, I was just, you know, wanting to really learn, and I was willing to invest the money to learn properly. So I chose to do the one-on-one course, and so it was all over Skype. So we started that, and it was, I think I paid for a month, like once a week for a month, and she basically just taught me the basics of candlesticks and wicks and just everything from A to Z. And I was really appreciative, and I feel like it really helped to have that one-on-one service, because I had her full attention. I could ask any questions, and with me, I'm always that type of person that likes to come prepared for something. So I had all these questions laid out. I had my notebook, you know, my color coordinated pen, so I was ready to learn. And she was great. She was a great asset. I learned a lot from her, and I think it was worth the money. So at that point, I think I started I entered her group or whatever, because when I paid for the one-on-one, it gave me kind of access to her group, which had a bunch of different traders, and I guess they would just discuss Forex stuff. So I got access to that group, and I would just, you know, read comments, stuff like that, see how people analyze charts, and I was just trying to figure out how to do it on my own. So she had helped me kind of create a trading plan and whatnot, and so I was just kind of going by that. And yeah, so I guess I was still a bit salty from losing all that money initially, so it was kind of a bumpy road at first psychologically, but she was very supportive. So yeah, so she was the first person that kind of taught me really what Forex was and like how to trade it properly and just kind of what the different terminologies were and whatnot. I also, in the meantime, she told me to go on babypips.com, so I went on that website and I just did my own due diligence and I searched up different terms and whatnot. With baby pips, there's like this, how they kind of form it is that there's a school of pipsology, and then you start in kindergarten and you go all the way to university. So I loved how it was structured, and you kind of go through each grade and it would get more complicated and more complicated. So I took quite a few, I think, weeks if not months just to really go through everything, because I was still kind of struggling to trade, and I think I started a live account with maybe a couple of $100 and it just wasn't working well for me, so I had a lot to work on. So yeah, I just took it upon myself to kind of learn. And then from there, the individual who had DM'd me, had messaged me on Facebook, he and I became pretty close friends, and we would just talk every day. And, you know, he'd tell me his story about how he started, and it was just really inspiring. It was really nice to kind of connect with somebody and ask them questions and stuff like that. And I was trying to kind of follow his method of trading. At that point, I was using indicators. I don't know, I'm trying to think, did Storm teach? I don't think that Storm taught me how to like use certain indicators, but I think with my friend who I met on Facebook, he had a certain way of trading with divergence, where he would kind of, you know, say for example, if price is going down but the RSI is going up, then that's divergence and all that type of stuff. But I never obviously got the hang of that. Worked for him, didn't work for me. So yeah, so at one point, again, just it was when I guess Instagram was starting to get more popular with Forex and whatnot. So I came across this guy's page. His name is Elias, and I came across his page and he was saying how he's a mentor, and that you know, his service was like $500 one time, and then you get access to the group. So even though, you know, I got that great basis, that great foundation from Storm, because I couldn't really afford to continue to do, you know, one-on-ones. I wanted to, but I just couldn't afford it at the time, like, because her one-on-ones were like 4 figures a month, so I couldn't afford that. So I was just like, oh, this guy is, you know, charging a one-time fee. And then, you know, and I was researching as much as I could. I asked him a lot of questions. He was also a young guy, so I related to him because I was young as well. And I just liked what he was saying and whatnot. He's a super humble guy. So ended up joining his group, and they were called the Forex Family. Some of you may have heard of the Forex Family. They're pretty big, growing. There's quite a few mentors in that group. I don't know if you've heard of Uncle Ted. That's my guy. He's cool. And there's Raquel. So they're all kind of part of this Forex Family. So this is when they were all kind of just starting out, though. They were all just kind of getting the hang of trading and whatnot. And so Elias kind of brought me into the group. But then unfortunately he kind of went MIA. Some stuff happened behind the scenes, and I'm not too sure what, but he kind of went MIA. But he did provide quite a bit of information, just kind of more details on Forex for me, so I had the ability to kind of learn. Again, he kind of provided a vault of information, and the Forex Family was growing and growing and growing, so there's just so many people to talk to. Yeah, but it was pretty cool. I definitely made sure that I participated and was engaged and tried to communicate with as many people as possible, because I did know that that was going to help. So that's what I did. And then yeah, so like I was saying, Elias kind of went MIA, but Uncle Ted, who is much older, he's so obviously much wiser than all the people in the group, because they're all in their kind of early 20s, and he was about 35, I think. So he's you know, a grown man, you know, has gone through life. So he obviously was doing well, probably a millionaire at that point with Forex, and he took it upon himself to kind of take all the students that Elias had left and keep them in the Forex Family and really just mentor them. So that was really appreciated. And, you know, not knocking Elias or nothing, like, he just had his own stuff going on, which is fine, whatever. I was just glad that my money didn't get wasted, and I was able to stay in the group. So, you know, Uncle Ted literally is still, he has been, and he's still there all the time. You know, you ask him a question, he's good at answering. I call him an acquired taste, and he always laughs when I say that, because he's a very blunt person. He's very no BS, very straightforward, but again, he's much wiser. So you know, you have to just take his information and really understand what he's trying to tell you. And he's a super nice guy because he takes the time to really answer every single question. He does Instagram lives pretty much every day, so you know, he's a great resource. So yeah, he took it upon himself to kind of help answer questions, you know, teach us. But it was more so, and this is what I appreciated, it wasn't like, here, do this. It was like, okay, post your charts, explain to us why you took this trade, what you did, and we will review it. So it was a lot more hands-on. And that's the thing with Forex. You can't use people as a crutch, especially with Forex. You have to, even though you have resources, it is up to you to really learn how to trade properly. And so you have to use those resources wisely. So I really appreciated how he did that. And it helped me to become more independent. But then there was kind of, I don't know if there was drama. Like, I didn't realize that with Forex that there's like actually drama between traders, but I just mind my business. I sip my tea and I mind my business. So I've never been a person that really cares for drama or whatever, but I would see certain people had drama, so whatever. In that group at the time, the Forex Family, there was this dude in there and his name was Damiano. And Damiano was a wicked trader. So obviously there were a lot of top traders in there in terms of just really successful trading on their own, you know, no 9-to-5 job. They were just doing their thing, and they would take the time to, you know, post pictures and whatnot and results. So I noticed this guy named Damiano and whatnot, and then I guess at one point he was no longer in the group, because you can obviously see when people leave the group. So he left the group at one point, and then I guess I heard through the grapevine that there was a bit of like drama, whatever, etc. So Damiano ended up making his own group. Yeah, so I was still in the Forex Family, kind of using that Facebook group and whatnot. Then it kind of died down. I was getting discouraged because, just again, like, I was blowing accounts, and this is just kind of on me. I was just blowing accounts here and there, and I was just like, yeah, this is not working, because something's off with me. So I had to figure that out. So I forget when I came across Damiano's group. I think it was probably 2017. Yeah, probably like 2 years ago. On Instagram, I guess his group appeared on my newsfeed, something like that. It was easy to kind of come across a lot of Forex related posts. So I saw this group called Invictus FX, and right away I was like, oh, this is a cool name. So I found out that it was Damiano who was running it, and I knew him obviously because he was in the group. I knew of him, and yeah, he's a young guy, very wise soul, very wise soul. That was the vibe I got from him right away. I did not know he was like a good 3-4 years younger than me. Like, I really didn't, I couldn't tell, because he was so grown, and he looked grown. I mean, he was fine, but let me just not say that. He was good looking. But yeah, so yeah, he was very grown. He lives in Spain, and I thought that was cool too. And he's a super cool guy, super chill guy. So how he was structuring, I guess, his group access, and again, I thought this was super unique, super cool. Basically, you had to apply and he had to approve you. So I think his goal was to really keep it, not to say he wanted to like not let anyone in. He really wanted to see who wanted it, who was really wanting it. And at that point, I wanted it so bad, because at that point I was kind of going through the ups and downs, and I had not given up at that point. I just knew it was more so like a me problem. It wasn't a, oh, Forex is hard problem. It was a me problem. And so I thought, you know, let me see this guy and what he's about, because I guess up until now, even though it seems like I've had all these mentors and whatnot, I hadn't found one that I understood in terms of how they traded, like how I can take pieces of what they do and kind of emulate it. Even though looking back now, I did technically take a few pieces from everybody and kind of mesh it into one to kind of form my own stuff. And then obviously I kind of have my own way of trading. But with Damiano, his way of trading stuck to me the best. So what he did was, we had to apply, and then you had to write an essay. I'm pretty sure. I think it was like, yeah, some sort of essay about why you wanted to get in. And so I got approved, which I was super stoked about, because again, like, man, I wanted it so bad. I was willing to risk everything for this. So then what he did was he said, okay, because mind you, he's successful. He wasn't doing this for the money. So he said, okay, figure out what stipendium that you, stipendium. Yeah, so he was basically doing it in the idea of like a stipendium. So you pass this exam type of thing. And then you suggest a stipendium, like you request it. So he didn't want to just say, okay, my course is $1,000 €1,000, and that's it, everyone has to pay it. How he did it was that he knew that people were in different kind of phases in their lives. Some people could not afford it, some people could afford it. So he said, you tell me what the value of this would be worth. You give me a stipendium, let me know what type of money or how much money you would be willing to pay me for this, and then I'll approve it or I won't. So I thought long and hard, and I'm like, okay, I budgeted, I made sure that I actually had a good amount of money, and then I offered a stipendium. And basically what a stipendium is, for people who don't know, is kind of like, I guess, like a scholarship or a financial aid. So I guess how he made it seem is that you can offer any amount of money. It could have been 100 euros, it could have been 200 euros, it could have been 10,000. Like, it's what you think the value of his course would be, and he would evaluate it to see, you know, if it's worth it, and if he agrees, and whatever. So I offered a stipendium, which I thought that was, you know, good enough in terms of how much I valued the course, how much I valued his time, and he accepted it. So I was super happy. And I remember it was around like October or the end of the year. No, it was around my birthday in September, and I was having a party, and I didn't even care about the party. It was like a house party that was having, like a house like barbecue or whatever. And I honestly, I swear to you, I didn't even care about it. I was just so focused on getting that email saying I was approved, and then right away I just wanted to get to work. So that was like what I did. I was super excited. That was the best birthday present ever. And yeah, I loved how he taught how to trade. I loved how he looked at price action, how he was the one to really show me naked Forex, like really how to trade, you know, trends, and, you know, looking at candlesticks and seeing the size of candlesticks, what that means and whatnot. So and doing the top-down analysis. So I learned so much from him, and that's when I really started to see success, was when I was kind of implementing his advice. And yeah, it was cool. So but I knew that just because of the past, I guess, mentors that I had, I knew that, you know, life might catch up to them, or something might happen where they might not be an asset anymore. They might not be a resource. So I knew that I had to make sure that I took full advantage again for this mentorship and just really run with it. And if for whatever reason he goes MIA, then he goes MIA. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So I wasn't fully relying on mentors as other people might have. I really understood that it really is up to me to figure this stuff out. So yeah, long story short, the inevitable happened where he kind of went MIA, which again is fine. Like, I'm not knocking these people. So he was the one that really taught me, you know, the way to trade that my personality connected with. So that was what I was grateful for, when I realized that, you know, my personality has to connect with it. That's pretty much how I learned how to trade. I had quite a few mentors, and I don't know how many people can relate, but I know people were curious to know how I learned how to trade. So that's pretty much how I learned how to trade. I had a few mentors, and then I mainly took it upon myself to learn, just use different resources, baby pips, man, researching YouTube videos, books, stuff like that, just reading Trading in the Zone, Naked Forex, stuff like that. So just, there were so many things I did, but I guess it was good because I had started so young. I was like 19, 20, that I had the time to really go through the trial and error, and I'm still young. So it's just like, yeah, I'm really grateful that I learned about Forex so early, so that I was able to kind of go through the motions of trial and error and all these mentors and whatnot. Not to say that it's necessary to have a bunch of mentors, it's just that's what happened with me. And yeah, but I'm still super young, so it's pretty cool to know that I've kind of gone through all that, and I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I really understand Forex. And so yeah, it's pretty cool. So that is pretty much the end of the video, guys. That is how I learned Forex. It is not this fancy cool story. It really was just what it was, you know? So yeah, sorry to burst your bubble if you thought it was going to be interesting. I thank you guys so much for watching this video and coming to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe. Please stay with me. I love you. Don't you feel the love? Like, just stay with me.
Won't you stay with me?
And if you are already subscribed, love you too. Thank you so much for subscribing and for being here. Feel free to like this video if you liked what I discussed today. Please comment down below as well. I want to know what other video ideas you guys have for me. Like, please tell me what y'all want to hear and I will do it for you, okay? Definitely connect with me as usual, and my social media will be in the description box below as usual as well. And I hope you guys have been having a great life. I know that sometimes, you know, life hits you and you might not be prepared for it, but please just keep pushing forward. I don't know who needs to hear this. Keep going. Life is short. You know, one thing that I would definitely say and suggest is take a risk on yourself. Take a risk on your passion. Pursue your passion. Pursue what you love and what you would do even if you were not paid for it. Whether it's Forex, whether it's cooking, whether it's dancing, doesn't matter what age you are. Just take a risk on yourself and see how far you fly. So that being said, thank you again so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!